So I wanted to go over something that I deal with a lot and that I get accused of a lot, and that's skewing my scores that I give to series very high, that I don't really give out ones through fives on a 10-point scale. And I think the way people use their lists or their rating systems really differs from person to person. But I think it also comes down to a mindset when you go into watching anime and what you're coming into this hobby for. And I think a lot of people have this idea that they need to sample everything, that they don't want to have any prejudices, or they want to see everything that's out there. And while I do think that's valid to get all those different viewpoints, and especially for to broaden your scope and maybe discover things you won't don't know that you like, I don't think having a list with scores that skew towards the high end is necessarily a bad thing. So I made a little diagram here, and let's consider this the bell curve of what I would personally rate every possible anime in existence if I were to watch it, which, is fundamentally impossible and, just not a thing that can happen. So, if we assume that there's a relatively natural distribution of the scores of what I would give to anime, that there'd be an equal number of tens as there would be ones, and a nice little bell curve there, then what I think most people are expecting is something along the lines of, with my limited time, I should be able to maybe scope out this early fashion and really get a good mix here. Maybe it's a little lower. Maybe it comes in a little over here. Comes up like that. Yeah, I think that's what most people are expecting or trying to. Get a good sampling all along the spectrum here of all these different genres and everything that maybe I don't like so much, but gives a good representation of anime as a whole. Now, what I think is that that's a complete folly, and that there's that's a waste of time. In fact, for shows that would be, say over here or something, why am I watching this show? Why am I bothering to finish this show? That's taking time out of my life where I could be not only watching anime that I actually like, some of these ones over here, but also maybe playing a video game that I would rate a 10 out of 10, or reading a book that I would rate a 10 out of 10. There's so much media content out there. Why are you wasting your time on 12 episodes of, you know, bullshit, I don't know, Chobits or something fucking terrible that it's just trash? Go watch Samurai Jack instead, right? Um, so instead, what I do, I think my curve would look pretty much exactly like this, or something along those lines. Where if I'm going to rate something a 10 out of 10, I'm going to see it. I am going to be discerning. I am going to search. I'm going to use recommendations. I am going to use reviews. I am going, find works from directors that I like. And I am going to fill in this over here, like as much as comes out over here. I want that all. And maybe when you start, you obviously don't know what you like. Maybe you're picking around, but you kind of get an idea. And then you absolutely want to skew towards this end, because this is all going to be stuff that is not only wonderful, but you also enjoy a whole lot. So, and then you gradually fill in and work your way up here, kind of, uh, and then maybe, Little Witch Academia comes out and put another 10 over here. All right. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of time spent versus quality consumed. And if you're purposefully limiting your ratings to have to, have to make a nice bell-shaped curve, where you don't give any tens, and you don't really give any ones either, and you gotta, you have about as many threes as you do eights, then I think you're just frankly wasting your time. And you need to reevaluate how you're going into this hobby and what you're getting out of this hobby. I can understand, I think if you're saying I want a complete perspective, and but that seems like a kind of a high-minded goal. And I don't know, why you would go about it that way. That seems unfun and a waste of time. Uh, so anyway, our Discord server was doing this little um, experiment thingy where we're picking a bunch of random shows here, and it's called the Anime Challenge, where you have to watch no anime that you've seen before, and the ones that fit these certain categories. So a comedy, an anime with primary non-human characters, um, a popular director's first work, you know, award-winning anime, and then going off these categories, kind of go from there and say, well, this is not something I would normally watch, or but I'm going to force myself to watch it. And I'm not participating in this. And while I think this is great, and I think that this is really cool for a lot of people, and it's a great way to get, make it a priority and get invested and say, here's some really cool stuff that I might have passed over. But I think I'm not participating in this because if it were something that I was super interested in, I would already be watching it. I would, if I think it's something that would appear somewhere in the red part of this graph, that would already be on my plan to watch list, or I'd be actively watching it. And I don't want to misrepresent the passion behind this and the intent behind the 2017 Watch Anime Challenge, but I think I'm not here to watch everything. And there's so much that I ignore that's probably pretty good. Um, Stuff like Gurren Lagann, stuff like, oh man, Gunslinger Girl, stuff that I really did respect but did not enjoy and wouldn't have necessarily put anywhere in here. That this seems like the most logical course of action to me when watching anime. I just keep filling it up, filling it up. Now we're getting into fives, you know. Um, and so that's why my my rating scale kind of instead of uh, instead of looking like a nice little bell-shaped curve here, it looks pretty much like it looks pretty flat, to be honest with you. It looks sort of like this, like here's a 10, here's a 1, and then it's just okay, right at the fives. And I have like a couple series here that I've finished maybe. Um, and I don't I don't see the problem with that. I get a lot of shit for it, but I think that's the right way to go about selecting from a huge catalog. And if you're not doing that, you're not being discerning. And you need to figure out what you like a little bit more. Anyway, just a small thing.